Every time I think I can look away, the drama explodes. And if you're ready for the absolute madness happening right now, hit that like button. I'm serious, drop a like before we go any further because we're gonna need backup for this one. So with that out of the way, what on earth is going on? Let's talk about Drake. If you're prepared to see how this man just did a whole photo shoot and tennis session with Sexyy Red, well, that Kendrick line is aging like fine wine. We've honestly never witnessed something this cringeworthy. This is Drake's midlife crisis playing out in real time, and it's painful to watch. Between that disaster and the new interview Drake just released, where he's finally sharing his thoughts on hip-hop and the whole Iceman album situation, seriously, like and subscribe to make this worth it. Because when I asked if you were ready, I'll be real, I'm not. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to face the fact that a 40-year-old man at the peak of his career disaster, someone who's never been in a worse spot professionally, at a moment when the stakes couldn't be higher, when he desperately needs a win, decided to play tennis with Sexyy Red. Listen. That whole situation is bad. It's embarrassing. But we're saving that for later. Before we get into Drake's influencer antics, we need to talk about the ridiculous things he's doing as an actual rapper. Here's what I mean, for the first time in ages, and for the first time not with some random streamer or awkward personality, whether that's an Aiden Ross or Bobby Althoff, Drake's actually done an interview where he's at least trying to look like a serious, thoughtful artist. He sat down with a complex journalist and gave real answers about his music. Now, Drake avoided the lawsuit and the beef entirely. And obviously, this was a written email interview. The questions were approved beforehand. If Drake didn't like something, you know he got it scrapped to protect his image. But still, he's finally talking about the Iceman album, where the project's headed, and where his career stands. And while there's definitely some cap mixed in, we actually get interesting insight into what's driving Drake, what's going through his mind during this messy, embarrassing, Karen-level meltdown we've all been watching. Looking at this article, it opens with Drake breaking down his Iceman live streams. Then it says he's been looking for a challenge. Which, even with Drake acting confident, the last 2 years have been the biggest challenge of your life. Don't sit there pretending everything's fine. Don't act like you're looking for something other than career damage control. You need the exact opposite of a challenge right now because of how badly everything's gone. But let's get into the article and see what he actually said. It covers the Iceman rollout and Drake's vision for this project. Drake is bored by traditional album rollouts. Nearly 2 decades into his career, he's done it all, long elaborate rollouts with multiple singles and videos, magazine cover promo, release night sit-downs with Zane Lowe, surprise drops. By now, it's all starting to feel a little stale to him. Which makes me ask, why? Maybe because you put all the energy into your rollouts and none into your albums? That would definitely make them feel bored when the albums aren't special. But I'll move on. Here's Drake's quote, "I was asked by a creative partner what I love and hate about rolling out an album," Drake tells Complex over email, which, the fact that it's over email, is kind of funny. "I expressed that I love the opportunity for a clean slate of thoughts and excitement and messaging when it comes to the music." Drake continues, "What I hate is the redundancy of this formulaic approach that's ingrained in our brains from the early label days, single, video, album, cover, post, etc. Drake, you literally helped build that formula. But go off." Here's where it gets interesting. When it came to rolling out his 9th studio album, Iceman, he wanted to try something different, a series of theatrical live streams on YouTube where he could debut singles and create a storyline around the project before release. Drake explains, "I have been urging to act, and I have been urging for a challenge. The game is extremely calm right now. Nobody is rocking any boat on the water. So once we discussed a live stream rollout, it just sounded like the perfect mix of risk and reward for me." Drake. You know what you're doing. I'm not gonna lose it, but you know exactly what message you're sending. You know who you're trying to shade when you say the game is calm seas right now. Sure, it's a statement about hip-hop's current state, which, besides a few artists, has been pretty underwhelming, but let's remember something, Drake, you're part of that problem. You're possibly the biggest reason things got this bad and stayed this bad. And for you to claim the waters are calm and nobody's making moves? That's a clear shot at the people who've actually been winning. The ones with successful, blockbuster albums. The ones with chart-dominating records and cultural moments that grabbed everyone's attention. Whether that's Kendrick Lamar and everything he achieved with GNX, or Pusha T in clips with Let God Sort Them Out, or Tyler, the Creator, or even Playboy Cardi. And when you say that, trying to undermine their success during this hip-hop era, don't sit there acting like you're not the messy one. Like you haven't been doing all this embarrassing nonsense. I just don't want to hear these blatant lies, especially when you talk about this Iceman project in the rest of the interview, like you're creating high art. Drake, I've got news, you're not. We literally watched you running around getting chased by Pinocchio. And even with the weak excuse you give, it still doesn't make it cool. It still doesn't make it look interesting. Going through the article to see why Drake's hyping these live stream rollouts, he says, I think I'm always capable of recognizing when things are shifting and not being weirdly affected by it, not being jealous, not being thirsty, just finding how I can shine light or coexist or make it a part of our ecosystem. He continues, with this, I would just study IRL streams versus the SnapNet bedroom cam streams. And I feel like IRL just had so much unpredictable energy and movement. Drake discusses the process behind that. But when Drake mentions some shift happening again, and says not being weirdly affected by it, not being jealous and not being thirsty, that's a shot at exactly who you think. Kendrick Lamar, Pusha T, and everyone who just humbled him. Drake's acting like he's adapting, like he's being mature by moving into a different lane. But it's making him look more childish. And you can see the psychology right there, once again trying to diminish his rivals through words. It's just weak and cringeworthy. And don't pretend you're not the first rapper to file lawsuits when you say this stuff, because that's what makes it feel extra pathetic. Drake discusses more here. When talking about the Pinocchios in episodes, he said, I watch a lot of docs, and as you get invested, you start to try and solve things before you even know where it's headed or what the answers are. Drake says he enjoys creating mystery. And honestly, that seems to be it. Mystery box nonsense. This is the J.J. Abrams approach to rap, setting up something with no real payoff. Because if Drake's just doing it for the thrill, then all your theories and analysis meant nothing. Overall, this whole thing looks like a disaster. But making it worse, Drake confirmed the Iceman story isn't finished yet. Which tells us this trash event and whatever he's doing will keep going. Drake said, the finale will be our best work. So apparently, Drake's still planning something big. But when the stuff he's teasing and showing looks like this, wait. I promised myself I wouldn't lose it. I'm not gonna spiral. But what happened to the hip-hop I used to love? What happened to rap? And what happened to the word rapper actually meaning something? Because if this is what we're dealing with now, if this is what we're seeing, a rapper who's failing musically and has continued to fail and flop repeatedly, and now the best thing he can do is have a multi-day photoshoot social media campaign that's wrapping up, or at least currently ending, with these pictures showing us that Drake really, really loves Sexyy Red. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if I should laugh, cry, or do something else. Because what's so obvious from all this? Well, once again, it's not just that Kendrick Lamar line from Euphoria looks more accurate than ever. Just look at how Drake is posing with her. Come on, man. Come on. But also, and I've been wanting to discuss this for a while, but I've been busy enjoying other things and not confronting the full picture. If we look at the last few days and see how Drake's basically made photo collages and posted them for everyone to see for multiple consecutive days, honestly, who knows when this ends? Who knows what he'll do next? On so many levels, this is disturbing. It's not like Drake's casually sharing his daily life on social media. These collages he's planning like he's a high school girl. Wait, that already makes sense. That already tracks. I'm not saying anything else. I know this is ridiculous, but I have to address it. When I see all these weird followers, hype beasts, and cloud chasers acting like they're informed, or that they actually care about music but clearly don't, pushing this narrative that music's been boring because Drake's not dropping, or Drake needs to drop music and save hip-hop, or the music world needs more Drake and that is music, well, that narrative doesn't just ignore that Drake has dropped over 30 songs this year and they've all basically flopped. It also ignores that while you're begging this guy to release music like he's doing something worthwhile with his career, he's literally trying to become a professional social media influencer. Again, putting more thought and effort into photo collages and carousel posts than anything related to art, music, and sound. And let's break it down when we see Drake do all these photo shoots and show off all this stuff. These aren't just selfies or videos captured from living his life in the spotlight. Drake's doing full photo shoots where he's bringing a photographer. As you can see, those are professionally shot photos. The photographer got credit and confirmed she came out to take these shots. From whatever Drake was doing on the beach and what he wanted to achieve, to playing tennis with Sexyy Red, these are all planned things he's doing to post and send some kind of message. Overall, I'm genuinely asking anyone in hip-hop with more authority than me, who has more authority than most people and truly stands at the top of the culture, when can we take someone's hip-hop card away? When can we revoke them from being anywhere near the culture? To see someone do everything they've already done, like Drake has, and now see him do this photo shoot, Karen's behavior we're witnessing. You know, most sports leagues or groups in any profession, whether actors or NBA players, they have some code of conduct or guidelines they must follow to stay within the councils or associations that define their title and give them the ability to do what they love. When we see a nearly 40-year-old man avoiding any responsibility of being a rapper who's contributing positively to the culture, while simultaneously disrespecting the art form and spreading lies, delusion, and hypocrisy on top of it, he's planning photoshoots that embarrass himself as a nearly 40-year-old man posing with Sexyy Red like this. This is exactly why we need gatekeepers. This is why we need someone to give Drake a suspension or some restriction on releasing music, or at least calling himself a rapper, for doing things that are just embarrassing to anyone who's ever cared about this craft or culture. Or even for Drake stans, if you want him to succeed, or even, and this might sound wild, if you wanted him to be the face of the culture, which some people actually believe, if you genuinely wanted that, Drake, and even if you want the old take care or nothing was the same Drake back, when you see this guy who, and I was thinking about this earlier, when you listen from the start of his discography to now, he's one of the only artists you could say sounds like they aged backwards. Like, they got less mature from album 1 to now. To see this guy, who's already disappointed us so much, now do something like this, showing that the art and the actual importance and title of being an MC has never mattered less, while most rappers, even J. Cole, if we're talking about him, is seemingly working on music behind the scenes, staying quiet until he has something to deliver, at the same time, while any other rapper could be working for all we know. Drake is just running around doing this. You can't be an OVO fan and tell me you have any confidence in Drake. Because if you look at the last few days and see how Drake's moving, how Drake's acting, from the beach photoshoot to the selfie where he said it's still personal, which was clearly a diss at all his rivals, and every other cringe moment in between, all building up to the Sexyy Red photoshoot. I'm still sitting here, unable to believe Drake actually hired a photographer to come out for a Sexyy Red photoshoot. Listen. What's so obvious and what I see so clearly when I see Drake posting like a high schooler, doing all these photoshoots and collages, running from any responsibility whatsoever, and at the same time, he's on social media throwing shade at people like Serena Williams, which he did in the comments of this tennis photoshoot post where he was trying to act cool, like he's best friends or maybe even dating Sexyy Red. I genuinely don't know at this point. From that to trying to drop weird comments, names, and accusations about Pusha T again, all while being a keyboard Karen warrior. I just have to say it's painfully obvious right now. It's obvious from how he's moving that this guy is in a midlife crisis, and he's desperately searching for any sense of purpose and any bit of relevance. And while he does get likes like a basic model on social media when he posts these things, which by the way, speaking of likes, drop one if you haven't because this is rough to process, I guess Drake enjoys the validation from posting selfies. It makes him feel confident and empowered. It makes him feel way more in control of everything around his name than music does, and probably ever will in the future. And with that, it becomes the obvious game plan, because even thinking about Iceman, no matter what's been teased and said, Drake has had absolutely nothing to share about the project for about a month now. Ever since the lawsuit collapsed, and everything he was pushing with the conspiracy garbage got completely debunked. Overall, right now, this whole situation is just insane. I can't believe we've actually reached the point where Drake is starting to establish and cement the groundwork for a full pivot from rapping to modeling and being a lame influencer and whatever other nonsense you want to call this. And you know, the more I think about all this and look at what we're seeing, the one weird and interesting thing I notice in all of this is that if we look at the pattern in the collage of what Drake's been posting the last few days, and what we see in his post where he said it's still personal, he put a random picture of Sexyy Red in there. And then today we see them having their little tennis date, posting all these pictures, looking so happy. And once again, making that Kendrick Lamar line ring truer than ever. Overall, I just have to say this, it's clear Drake really likes Sexyy Red, and he wants a closer connection with her than seemingly anyone else in rap right now. I have to ask these questions because while we're here watching Drake do this, what else can we say? Is there a chance Drake and Sexyy Red are actually dating? Maybe this is the start of a new era for him. Maybe this is Drake trying to do something weird that he'll benefit from and gain clout from. Who knows, maybe get some collabs out of it. Or maybe they're just working on something together right now and he's making a collab album with her. She'll be on Iceman, or he'll do a record with her, and this is his next big move. This is why they're teasing it. If that's the case, if this is Drake's big musical play he's trying to roll out for late 2025, or to save his rap career in general, or to get the Iceman rollout back on track, we've seen this strategy already, man. We've seen it not work. We've seen it fail. And the only time it did work with you and her on a track, you also had Sexyy there, and it was really those two who gave the record its energy and not you at all. Even if Drake is working on music and his secret weapon is now running around with Sexyy Red and embarrassing himself like this, I honestly might have less confidence in him than I already did. It's not that Sexyy Red is the worst artist Drake's worked with recently, I think that's how low the bar is, that she's nowhere near that. And I do think when she's used right, like on Tyler, the Creator's Sticky or with her Glorilla collabs, she adds a good vibe. But with Drake playing off her, meaning Drake's gonna copy what she's doing somehow and be the worst possible match, that's only gonna continue showing the regression and immaturity of everything he's done and everything he's represented. If this is a collab or if there's music coming, this thing is destined to fail. So really, what I have to say, and I can't believe these words have to come out of my mouth, and once again they're making me think about what happened to the game I love, the rap music I knew, and the title and respect and credibility it genuinely took at one point to be a rapper, but I hope Drake is honestly just trying to pivot to modeling or influencing or whatever you want to call it, and he's hanging out with Sexyy Red either because they're dating or on a date. And it's not because they're working on music. Because if I have to endure more Drake music, trash between these two that I'm sure is only gonna regress and show how bad and immature he's getting more and more, because if Drake's teaming up with her now, the last thing he'll do is something even slightly respectable. And look at the pictures they posted. You can see everything you need to know here. Listen, I don't know if I can handle that. Because that might genuinely be the worst collab and worst song Drake has ever made, with the trajectory he's on and the track record he's shown recently. So I'm just gonna say before I lose it, and I'll leave everyone with this, for the Drake stans, I'm not letting up. And if you're standing there, supporting, and trying to act like Drake looking like this and coming out like a goofy clown playing tennis with Sexyy Red while he's reminiscing about Serena Williams in the comments is anything close to cool or anything that'll help his music career, I've got news for you. And I just want you to understand this. While Kendrick Lamar is out there winning every time he steps outside and every time he drops music, the entire world stops in an era where most people can't even get a few heads to turn for a drop. And there are so many rappers still commanding at the very least some level of respect. What your favorite artist is doing, and what you think he's gonna save the industry with, is being a fully grown 40-year-old man who's hiring a photographer to take photos and have a photo shoot with Sexyy Red. And I really just want you to sit there in the mirror and say to yourself, I think almost 40-year-old Drake is cool for having a photo shoot with Sexyy Red. And Iceman is still gonna be a classic. And Drake is locked in to make such an amazing record. And if you think that, I've got news for you. Look in the mirror again. See how you look. And, wow. You're an absolute clown. I think that's all I've got today. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm genuinely just done with the direction of everything we're seeing here. I just can't believe Drake has become so anti-hip-hop that he's literally turning into an influencer and doing cringe garbage stunts like this, which again just leave me in absolute disbelief of what this genre has become and who we really let control the gates for the last decade or so. And I think there's gonna be a major conversation we really need to have, and not just people here, but in hip-hop as a whole, about gatekeepers and understanding the inner workings of the culture and trying to prevent stuff like this from ever happening again. Because some of this has just gone too far. People are genuinely treating hip-hop in a way that they don't appreciate anything it stands for. And while this is a small moment in the relatively big picture, I think it really does represent a much bigger problem that's gonna need a bigger conversation. But listen, if you made it to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you. Let me know how you feel about this and if this was as rough a look and as difficult to process for you as it was for me. And if you made it to this point and you haven't already, really make sure to drop a like. I just want to personally thank you for hanging out here, having this conversation. And if you want to stick around a little longer and see how on the other side of the losing spectrum, Rory and Mal just destroyed their lives forever, and genuinely, the rest of their lives are gonna be ruined from here on out with how badly they've messed up and how much they've made an absolute disaster, all the way to the point that we're seeing one of the worst fall-offs of all time, well, you are not gonna want to miss this one. So what I have to say is just check out the suggested video.